Can I throw a wild idea by you? I saw more of the artist renderings of the stadium came out, and some people noticed that the place where the Dawg Pound would be is a giant fan wall like they have with the Clippers. And this one would be like the biggest fan wall in North America in the end zone. And it looks really cool. I had a lot of people over this last week. Once, June 30th came around and Mike DeWine put the Herbie Hancock on things. And, hey, the Browns are going to get it. We're getting the stadium. We're getting ready to go. Off they're going to go. What if because there were a lot of people going, man, they're just getting a reward for not being good. They haven't been good. Okay, how about this? What if you have your fan wall, everything's there? By the way, I know what day it is. It's July 3rd. What if they just don't call it the Dawg Pound until they make the playoffs? You got to make the playoffs in the building before it's actually called the Dawg Pound. Because there's been a lot of people, hear me out on this. There's been a lot of people over these last 25 years ago, yeah, they call it the Dawg Pound, but it's not really the Dawg Pound. The team's not good. And I go, okay, just like Ohio State with the black stripe. You go into the new building. It's this brand new opulent building. Now, we'll see. Maybe they'll have their own version of Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen by then, and it's going to be a moot point, and they've gone to the playoffs a couple of times. Yeah, if they go to the playoffs the year before, go ahead, call it the Dawg Pound the year. But what if you got to go to the playoffs in the new building before it gets called the Dawg Pound? They have to, the team, fans have already earned whatever they want to call it. The team has to earn the title of the Dawg Pound. Because there was no signage in the Dawg Pound in the old stadium. There was signage in the new stadium. But again, I go back to what people have been saying for the last 25 years. What if?
That there was no Dawg Pound really in that stadium?
In this last one? It was called the Dawg Pound.
Yeah, that upper level and lower level Dawg Pound.
You had the bench seats, but it wasn't. It was like the one playoff season you had, you couldn't have but 12,000 people in the stadium because of COVID. This last year or 2 years ago, it was like, oh my God, they're actually going to the playoffs. I can't believe they're going to the playoffs here. And if everybody's like, man, they're because if they were 14-3, it'd be a little bit easier. It'd be a lot more fun to be like, hey, new stadium, all that stuff. What if they just had to earn the name? The team has to earn the name Dawg Pound. You make the playoffs, banner comes down the next day. It's not the banner like Jim Irsay would be, rest in peace. But it would be like, hey, okay, the team, they have the Dawg Pound now. The team has earned the name the Dawg Pound for the end zone.
The team can't talk about the Dawg Pound. Jimmy Haslam and D can't talk about the Dawg Pound.
It's up to them. I'm asking about the team.
Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski.
It's the team. The team has to earn. We got to earn the name Dawg Pound in the end zone for the fans. We got to make the playoffs.
I'm thinking about. I
said dumber things, I'm sure, but this might be dumb.
I think it's an interesting idea because we've had so many people tell us flat out, Dawg Pound is dead. We don't have a Dawg Pound anymore. What is it that we're even discussing this? There's no home field advantage. It's not like one side of the stadium is that much louder than the other side of the stadium.
Think about that. Well, when you're underneath a roof, it's going to be louder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's going to be louder.
Yeah, for sure.
But let me throw this out there. Play this scenario for you in your heads. Say Shedeur Sanders wins a starting job later on this year and ends up being good. Mm-hmm. And then 2028 comes around. It's the final season in the old building. And, he goes, damn it, we've challenged ourselves. We want to make the playoffs. We got to make the playoffs. So next year, opening day, we got the Dawg Pound for the fans. We owe it to the fans to make the playoffs. We've put this goal for us. We got to be a playoff team. We got to be this type of team, XYZ. So we win the name, the Dawg Pound, put the name on there for the fans.
So it has to be.
Get the fans going.
So it has to be a playoff game.
It has to be a playoff team.
You got to be a playoff team. Does it matter if you get bounced in the first round? Does it matter any of that?
No.
Okay.
So just be a playoff team.
So like the Joe Flacco team would have earned Dawg Pound status.
Yes. I think it probably would backfire considering the way they lost, but they would have. You got to be a playoff team.
Well, tell people about the wall because they got to understand how different this is.
If you guys go look at the renderings and go look at what the Clippers arena. I don't know the name of the arena off the top of my head, but there's like just a giant. There's no middle concourse there. It's just basically a wall of fans, a giant wall of fans that goes up for rows and rows and rows and rows and rows and rows and rows. and Dr. Rosen. And it's going to be huge. And I think it's going to be the biggest fan wall, because I think they do this in European soccer as well. It's going to be the biggest fan wall in North America. It might be the biggest fan wall in professional sports. I'm not sure which one's which, but I think it's going to be the biggest one in North America. And eventually it would be called the Dawg Pound. And the fans call it whatever they want. But there's been so many times where it's like, well, the team calls it the Dawg Pound, but it ain't really the Dawg Pound. And I go, okay, you want to earn the dog, but you want to have the name Dawg Pound, then damn it, the players got to go out there and earn it. If you want to wake up the echoes of old Browns teams in the past, then they got to go out there and earn it. Because we talk about history, and so many times I think we get tradition and history mixed up. The Browns have a rich history, very, very vivid, great history. But you have to protect tradition. You have to uphold tradition. The Dawg Pound is a tradition. You have to uphold it. The Dawg Pound was born from good football being played in that stadium. They didn't just make up the Dawg Pound when things were bad. No, those were good players playing good football.
And it was organic.
In the stadium. It was organic. Well, now you're going to have something there, like the black hole came with them from Las Vegas, but there's plenty, or from Oakland to Las Vegas, there's plenty of people say, well, it's not the black hole the way it used to be. Well, nothing's ever going to be the way it used to be. Fine. But
Kenny,
I'm thinking,
I remember
this is one way to make them earn something if you want to do it that way.
The biggest criticism when they came over in 99 in the Rush Stadium setup, man, we had Terry Pluto on yesterday to talk about some of that. When they rushed everything, I remember they brought out the very corporate signage, Dawg Pound. And yes, they made it bleacher seating, which it was kind of funny. It's like, hey, you're in the Dawg Pound, you get worse seats, which is, I guess that the theory was that they were going to cram them in a little bit. So they did, but it wasn't the same. You didn't have that fencing. You didn't have the fact that the players could literally just jump on in very easily to the Dawg Pound, hand footballs over, go up to the grassy knoll that they had over there, the hill, to get into the Dawg Pound. And obviously they didn't win. The most important factor of all is that they didn't win, and yet it was still called the Dawg Pound. And I remember listening to Sports Talk Radio, is the Dawg Pound dead? Is it really even a thing anymore? And
I've always been a denier of that. I go, no, the team just has to win to wake up all that stuff again. Well, okay, the team officially has to win. If they go to the playoffs in 2028, fine.
We're back in.
We're back in.
Yeah,
you can call it the Dawg Pound from day one. But if there's some 4-win team and everybody's like, oh, God, here we go. Okay, fine, make them earn it in the new building. Is it a terrible idea?
What do you think? What do you think, Frank Minifield, Hanford Dixon? What do you think their thoughts?
Oh, my God. Day one, Browns make the playoffs in 2028. You already know where I'm going. Opening day, day one, new stadium. Frank, Hanford, they're the ones who break the guitar. They're right there. Boom. The Dawg Pound signage is there. Away you go. They're the Dawg Pound captains for that game. Opening, I got to be in marketing. I'm incredible. I know all this stuff.
We got two young guys here. We got Mitch and Matt. Yeah. During the break, I want you guys to look up Dawg Pound videos from the late 80s, early 90s.
The dudes in the masks.
Look it up and understand what it is before you can, because I don't think they have any idea. I don't think they could truly speak to the Dawg Pound. I think they'll say, oh, yeah, I went to a game. I was in the upper Dawg Pound. No, you weren't. You were not in the Dawg Pound.
Well, some of those things that they did at the old Dawg Pound, things you just can't do in a.
No.
You can't bring in some fake dog house with beer underneath it, a keg underneath it. And some of the things that have been claimed in the Dawg Pound and back in those days, which maybe are tall tales, but at the same time, still,
it wasn't tall tales. They threw batteries and dog bones at John Elway. During the game, they had to switch sides of the football field.
I'm talking about things that might have been Caligula.
Yeah, there's some of that too. Absolutely.
All right, coming up at 7:20, Bobby Martin. You're telling me I've had worse ideas?
I think you talked me into it, because when I caught wind of this yesterday, I kept asking Kenny, "You're not explaining this. What is the Dawg Pound?" Well, I did get some messages from people saying the Dawg Pound has been dead for a long time.
Yeah, that's why I say maybe it should be up to the team to revive it.
But then again, Mary Kay just said everywhere she travels, it's dogs barking, it's references to the Dawg Pound. Obviously, we know the signage in the stadium reflects that. So, maybe it's just not the same for everybody. I don't know. I mean, there are some things, right? The Dawg Pound captain, I think they've knocked that out of the park so far today.
And it would be great. Just envision this with me. If they opened up the state, say they make the playoffs, they lay the gauntlet down. And then when they make the playoffs the next year, when they have the Dawg Pound, they can officially make it the Dawg Pound, and they can make Hanford Dixon and Frank Minifield the Dawg Pound captains. and they break the guitar and the signage gets unveiled, just like what they did with Joe Thomas's name there on the side of the stadium. Boom, there you go. There you go. Okay, just everybody think it's stupid. I'm just trying to be proactive here.
Hold on.
You guys all sit there and say they don't deserve a brand new palace or 3. Okay, they won 3 games. Let me have them earn something out of this. Nah, Kenny's an idiot.
Are they going to be bleacher set up?
Nah, forget it.
Like the Dog Pound or what?
Forget it. Just fine.
What?
Fine. We'll do nothing out of competition. Everything's just handed. You know, there was a wise man who once said everything is earned here and nothing is given.
Will there be a chain link fence?
No, you can't do that in 2025 or any other year. That's
do you want the
past
Dog Pound or do you want
the?
What do you want? Well, harken back to the glory years or not?
Listen, man, I'm fine with a chain link fence. I don't think the fine people at the NFL or public safety, for that matter, would like a chain link fence anymore.
Or, if you fall the wrong way on top of it, you could get speared.
They also used to build these things out of all wood. No, I don't think they do that anymore.
No.
All right. Is it a good idea or a bad idea? I'm getting killed for it online. I didn't. Well, Keith wanted you to kill me over it, over the idea of the Dog Pound and earning the Dog Pound and earning the name. And I said, everybody, when they announced that, when the governor signed the budget, and it seems we're going to get the money for the stadium. Well, I'm not getting the money, but the Browns are getting the money for the stadium, and they're going to build the stadium and all that. And I said, well, if you want to make them earn something, make them earn the term Dog Pound. Go to the playoffs the year before you go to the new stadium. Fine, you can have the Dog Pound. But if you're not a playoff team and the new stadium opens, you have the area that people can sit, and they can call it whatever they want. If they want to call it the Dog Pound, that's that fan's right to call it the Dog Pound. But you can't call it the Dog Pound. You have to earn it, and the players will sit there and talk about how we have to earn the Dog Pound because we have to earn our fans here in Cleveland. Everything is earned. Nothing is given here in Cleveland, Ohio / Brook Park, Ohio. Damn it. We have to earn it, and we're going to do it here. And, of course, I'm being made fun of.
Well, so here's what I want to know. I want to know
Keith wants you to kill me for.
Well, yes, and there's some.
Go ahead.
There are some youngsters in here, and I've gotten some.
It's right here, buddy.
I've gotten some blowback from people that have said, "What are you letting Ken get away with this nonsense? There is no Dog Pound. The Dog Pound doesn't exist anymore.
That's an interesting thing, too.
I want to ask the kiddos that are with us. We have two youngsters in here today. We've got Mitch and we've got Matt. All right?
Mitch and Matt.
So Mitch and Matt, we'll start out with you, Mitch. What do you know about the Dog Pound?
I don't know if his mic's on. I don't know if Mitch's mic's on.
What do you know about the Dog Pound? Is it something that's holy for you? Are you up on the history of the Dog Pound?
Well, considering I've only gone to one game in my entire lifetime, it doesn't mean quite as much to me, but I understand the significance of having a huge portion of the stadium like that. And I don't hate Ken's idea necessarily. I think they would just it could be something to try and earn as a fan base, because I know some people are kind of out on it right now. My big thing with the idea is you want to bring back the chain link fence, have some sort of 5-foot, 6-foot chain link fence with a smooth surface top on it, so that people won't
stop.
They won't have any issues with the poking and the prodding.
Or you just don't put up a chain link fence.
I think you could put up like a modern chain link fence. Obviously, not the rusted one.
But what if they go out there and they suck up the room? Is that not just another slap in the face to the history of the once great Dog Pound?
Then on TV or the radio, we can hear the rattling of the chain link fences, and we know the fans are pissed.
They used to shake that fence. That was a big. But fine, go with wrought iron, whatever. Just something.
Iron fences.
Some kind of fencing. All right, Matt. You are the youngest person, I believe, on staff. How old are you?
I'm 22.
You're one of I think you're tied for the youngest on staff.
Mm-hmm.
The Dog Pound, does it mean anything to you?
Well, I know that it means a lot to the fans, especially back in the day at the old stadium, because like we mentioned, the chain link fence, that was different. I'm watching old footage of those games in the 80s.
Yeah.
That I don't think we'll ever get something like that again.
And the old AFC Central Division against the Houston Oilers.
Yeah. See, I don't think we're going to get that again. But I get what they're trying to do, trying to revamp it. I think Ken has the right idea with them trying to get something going to compete.
Gotta earn it.
But Mary Kay made a great point about the fact that, look, Dog Pound, the barking, it's so synonymous with the fan base. They're not going to drop it as easy. So I don't know what you do in terms of taking care of that. I don't know what you want to call it when they don't make the playoffs in that regard. But there's something there.
Well, once you get the Dog Pound, you get the Dog Pound. So once it's the Dog Pound, it's always the Dog Pound. I don't know what rules I'm supposed to throw in if they make the playoffs once and then they start sucking all over again. Like, I don't know what to do there. You guys can go get all that figured out. I don't want to get bogged down in the specifics. But I've told you, I'm very big on upholding traditions, not just doing tradition for tradition's sake. To me, and Meredith's going to come in here and she's actually going to stab me in the throat over this. Why does Virginia Tech always get to do Enter Sandman? You need to be relevant to be able to do Enter Sandman. You got to be over 500 consistently. If you're over 500, you get to do Enter Sandman.
If you're like a 2-win team, so meandering onto the field with that amazing song.
What was Virginia Tech's record in 2024? I thought they were over 500. So you can do Enter Sandman. I told you, Clemson, when they do the bus ride, if they lose at home, they need to walk back up the hill, get on the buses, and the buses have to go back and reverse around the stadium down to their locker room. Upholding traditions, earning the tradition, Matt.
VTech was 6-7.
6-7. Then guess what?
4-4 in the
SEC. I can give you. No, it doesn't count. I can give you winger. I can give you Dockin. I can give you. I might be able to work Cinderella. Nothing but a good time as you guys take the field. You are not allowed to have Enter Sandman until you're over 500.
Lost in the Duke's Mayo Bowl to Minnesota.
Weren't they over 500?
Let's find out.
Hey, I think they were.
They were.
Now,
8-5.
Now you've seen the renderings.
Nice season for PJ Fleck. Bounce back.
They in their development, their design of the stadium, they have found what they believe to be something that is going to lend itself to better home field advantage than anywhere else in all of at least North America, but beyond, which is their version of the wall, their version of the Clippers wall, their version of the wall that has been used in London and in other soccer venues. Because we all can admit, we have not really had any kind of home field advantage, be it the weather, the noise. The Brown Stadium has not really had any kind of home field advantage.
Steve on Twitter says they need to call it Go Pound Dog until further notice. And then there's a picture of the upside down banner, the misplaced banner. You are only 22, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, young man, take advantage of this. Do you understand what I was doing in radio at 22 years old?
I'm kind of afraid to ask.
He's running drugs.
I was what?
He's running drugs.
Yeah, I had to go get exotic dancers their dancing powder from their houses.
Got it.
They would leave it for some odd reason back at their place, and I had to go. And one guy, I'll never forget.
And Ken got a finder's fee out of that.
No, I did not. There was a guy in New Jersey Nets basketball shorts and a white T-shirt who convinced himself I was with his girlfriend when I went to go pick up the dancing powder.
What year was this?
Oh, I was 22 years old, so this would have been 80. No, not this. I'm 1986.
6 years old.
2007.
Oh, okay.
2008.
Okay.
2008. I was in college.
That's crazy. I was in fourth grade.
I didn't want to run something by you though. You were talking about like upholding tradition because Lyman just said it. The Clippers.
Oh, now it's just an open forum. We don't have commercial breaks or anything here, do we?
Well,
okay.
We have 2 minutes, real quick.
Go ahead.
Clippers. What kind of tradition do they have? Like, should they? If this keeps going with these playoff
they're
exits,
creating
get rid of the wall.
They're creating a new tradition.
Well, yeah, Sacramento tried to do the beam, but then they ended up having a terrible season the year after and fired Mike Brown.
So now there's no beam?
I think they still have the beam.
They should like the beam.
The beam's still there, yeah. I like the beam.
I don't think you want to get into any of the Clippers history before Steve Ballmer. It's not good.
Yeah.
But this would be, hey, you want to bring something back that's great. Because I think there's a difference between history and tradition, and this is something that's a little bit of both, and it gives you a chance to uphold the tradition. I've had better ideas, I know. And yes, it is July 3rd. I know the day, and I know what time this is in sports.